Hey guys, Joe here. Well, this is part two of the way I make fire. And today I'm going to describe how I make fire with a bow drill. Uh, Bow drill I like a little bit more than a hand drill, mostly because you could use it in the more temperate areas, like the Appalachias, the Northwest a bit. Um, the only disadvantage is that it has more components to use. It has basically four components. You have your bow, your bearing, your drill, and your hearth or fireboard. Now, the bow drill is probably the more of the all primitive ways of making fire is probably the more popular. Uh, Basically, you can get a fire going in almost like any circumstance. I mean, I've gotten it in a rainstorm, where I couldn't have probably done it with a hand drill. But the type of wood I use for bow drill is basically I really don't pay attention to the name per se. Is if it like for example this. Hell, if I know what type of wood this is, but it passed the fingernail test. See here. Let me show you. Get up close and personal here. Okay, here. You can see right here. Nice. It goes in nice here. So, but we all know that even in the desert things kind of rot. So, what I like to do is carve the outside a little bit, and then do the thumbnail test again, and it goes right in. Another way you could do is just split it down the middle and then try the thumbnail test. So that way you don't know sometimes how far the rot may have gone in. But if you go right to the center, thumbnail test works, you got a good piece of wood that should get a coal. So basically what you do is you split it with this piece right here. I'll demonstrate. If it would just cooperate. But I like to use my little tomahawk here with the flat end here. How's that? But here we have perfectly split. Boom. Thumbnail test works just fine. So I don't have to pay attention to what type of wood this is. For all I know, it could be locust. It's a hard wood, but it's a thumbnail test. Well, what I did is I was out in the woods, the desert, found this piece of wood. I took a folding saw out of my pack here, cut pieces off, made another piece here. I wish I could find the other part. But as you can see, as I tested to see if I could get a coal, and yes, I was able to get a coal. My only concern about this piece here is this crack. As you can see what happened here, I was drilling away, it popped right off and was annoying. So let me demonstrate here of how I get a coal going first. Of course, first you need to measure out where you want the hole drill placement. So right here, same as with the hand drill, kind of a quarter of a turn. Right here. Take my knife. Make sure I don't stab myself. That hurts. And there we have it right there. Nice little here. So, before I start drilling, let's discuss the components here. Okay. We already have the hearth or fireboard. We have the drill. I'm not going to go through the whole rigor mortis of just, splitting the log, going through that. There's enough videos on that here. But once you get a piece here, you want it to get it nice and smooth, perfectly round. You have carve the handhold end. You want to have a nice little bit long tip here. For the board going into the drill, the drill going into the board is you carve kind of a more of a blunted point. So that way, if it's not up in the air, it's not going to go drill, 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 and have, you know, just you chew up the board. You have your bow. This is a piece of willow I got, and reverse wrapped cotton cord, and works just fine. But here's another thing that I like to use is I was making a bow and I was tailoring it, and it broke right at the handhold. Annoying. But I took the ear here and reverse wrapped some parachute cord and made myself a bow for my bow drill with a nice little handhold. For the bearings, I have 3 different types here. You can, you know, drill into like a handhold of the wood. I got tired of that. The reason why I got tired of that because like every time I used a new drill, I would like burn in a little bit more. No matter how much lubricant I put on it, it would just drill a little bit more, drill a little bit more, drill a little bit more until finally it goes right through. So I have 3 permanent handhold bearings for my bow drill. Let me show you here. This, I'm sure you've seen before in some of my bow drill demos, is a piece of soapstone I found. You could use any soft sedimentary rock. Just take your knife or nail and just grind away until you get a nice little depression in there. And throw a little bit of lubrication in like soap or pine sap and you're good to go. Another one is a piece of bone I found out there. It was a dead cow. And I just took my axe and hacked at the humerus for a bit. It wasn't that humorous, it was quite stinky. But anyways, I took a piece home, took my drill, drilled a bit, carved a little bit more, and it works just fine. I think I might demonstrate this, but my only concern is this little crack here. Eventually it's going to give out, so I'm not happy about that. Third and lastly, this is probably going to be for a later date, next video of something like this, but got this idea off a guy named Patrick Farragon who made something like this. And basically is I drilled in, hammered it out, a little bit divot on the inside here with a piece of leaf spring, drilled 2 holes, quenched it, and then sort of a combo of a bow bearing for my bow drill, flint and steel, and a striker for my metal match. It was a great idea that Patrick came up with, and I asked if I could give it a try, and he said, sure, go ahead. So this will be used at a later date. But let me give you a little demo on getting a hole drilled here. Alright, well, before we start, nothing more annoying of getting going with the bow drill and having your handhold start heat up on your hand. I've done it before, before my handhold caught on fire and was able to get a coal. Of course, at this point, I didn't need to get a coal. My handhold was already smoking hot as is. But for lubrication, one of the things I carry in my pack is, well, soap. Aside from just washing and usual, I also use it to soap up my handhold. That way, I'll take it like this, like so. Put these up to the side. And now, going to drill in the hole using my bandana to keep the ground moisture away from the fireboard. What you want to do is, since I'm left-handed, this is a perfect opportunity for those who are right-handed to get an idea. If you come in like this and you twist away from you until it locks in, you can, should slide just a little bit. Some don't like to let it slide. I like to have a little bit of give here. But you want it to fly out. So, that's it. Fimble, flumble, flopple. You don't want to go real hard and fast. You're just burning the hole in. And have it pop out on you. Quite annoying. Because I did not get into the hole I was going for. Because of a little hump here. Okay. There we go. Let's give it a try again here, huh? There we go. That's another reason why you want to have your fireboard on top fairly flat. There we go. Okay. Here's a little trick that I like to use. Saves time. Swiss Army knife. The saw. Save the dust for later. Get a quick and dirty notch here. Like to have a lanyard on this. That way. Hook it onto your belt loop. Take your knife. Clean it up. All right. Well, we're just about ready to go. So, before I do that, I'm going to demonstrate good, proper posture of the bow drill. So, hold on. Okay. Placement, body placement on with the bow drill. First thing you do is you want your foot squarely secured on the fireboard without it rocking back and forth. Next, you lock your drill in place. You put your spindle into the drill hole. Your handhold on top of the upper part of your spindle. Now, this is important here. Is a lot of people don't, seem to notice very well. Is you want your hand to be locked against your shin. Secondly, you want to have something like of a square. How your legs are positioned. You want it to have your leg here to be at a 90-degree angle. Boom. But you also want your hand, to grip your shin very well. You want it to lock. You don't want it to be like this and go all over the place. Otherwise, it's going to pop out. So, before I do that, the next important thing is get your piece of wood to catch your ember. It could be bark, it could be even another piece of your tinder. However, I prefer to use something to catch it and then transfer it into your tinder bundle. But that's just my preference. So, that said, set that off to the side. Let's see if we can get a coal, eh? See if I can get this to flip out or not get a coal. Either way. You don't want to start out real fast, like this. You want it slow and easy. Build it up. Nice and slow. Of course, I could, start out real hard and fast, but if you're just starting out, just start out nice and slow. As soon as it starts smoking, apply a little bit of pressure, increase the pace. Let's see here. And I believe we got something. Or not. That's a negative. The string kept on slipping. So, well, great opportunity to try again. Switch bows. Gonna use Old Reliable here. Catch my breath. Let's try it again. Much better. Here we go. There we go. Yes. Woo! I'd like to add char to it. Here we have it. It's almost like throwing a pitch. Ah! There we go. Woo! There you have it. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But just keep trying. Keep practicing. That's all you can do. So basically is don't worry about what type of wood it is. Because some people have said that you can't get coal from evergreens, pine especially. Well, in this environment, I did. It was super dry, but not to the point of dry rot. It did pass the thumbnail test. Oh, but I had to crank and crank and crank, but I was able to get a coal.
But don't worry about the names of the wood, as I said. As long as it does the thumbnail test, you should be able to get a coal. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as I'm going to demonstrate my part 3, how I make a fire going with flint and steel, my old-time favorite. Thank you for watching.